My point being that if I had to create the 700 million people lifted out of poverty country, if I had to make the 90% of you own your own home,
it comes at some cost, man.
If that's the cost it comes with, if I can't implement progressive liberal democracy in Pakistan, which will inevitably just not work, right?
Yeah.
And if I had to go China one party, I would go China one party.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So yeah, we're kind of on the same page on this, man.
Like, sure, ideal world, I would have loved if the Chinese could have, the common man in China could have expressed everything he wants to, and also got all of those things. But I mean, dude, there's always in every society
There's an Overton window.
There's an Overton window. There's a level of alignment. Like, okay, for example, okay, you're automatically clubbed into a desirable or undesirable, or at least more desirable, when you're a member of the CCP. China. That's a plus for you on the social credit score end of things. The same way, if you have the affectations of a Midwestern elite in the United States, if you've gone to a certain kind of liberal arts college, or if there's certain language that you use or refuse to use, then you have the credentials and the social credit scoring of that's positive to that kind of society. And I mean, in an era where in Britain people are being hauled up, and dude, we're sitting in Pakistan. I genuinely will contend, I will debate someone over this, that you are more likely to get arrested for a tweet in Britain in this very moment as compared to Pakistan. Someone who is not taking that argument seriously has not been following what it's been like in Britain recently. The most innocuous tweets are getting people picked up from their homes, getting arrested. And in a time like that, to single out China and say that it's this oppressive society is just...
It's in bad faith, man. I love China.
Deeply in bad faith, right? You've got similar speech controls on a state level and on an informal level, across the Western world nowadays.
Yeah. I think they also had something, I think it's linked to this actually. They had this thing where it's like influencers needs to have certain degrees to talk about certain topics, And I don't know if degrees are the appropriate qualification for talking about a topic, but I do agree with the sentiment that if you want to speak about something, you should have some level of knowledge and understanding of that topic before you start spewing some. And I let our audience in on a little secret today. Like, the stuff that we do, honestly, it takes time.
Yeah.
We spend a week, 2 weeks researching a topic. It's not just we're speaking from the top of our head. We really get deep into it. We give the topic some respect. It's the least we can do. We respect the subject matter of what we're talking about, man. Our process is not just, hey, let's just switch on some cameras. We put in the work. We research.
And we churn it out like...
Yeah, we churn it out a little bit. Yeah, but like,
it's intentional.
The average read time, at least I have, for a topic we're going to discuss, ends up being 100, 200 pages at the very minimum. 200 probably as a very minimum. I'm reading about a topic before I'm going to speak about it.
There's the research angle. There's also the angle of letting something stew in your mind and giving it the due respect of actually thinking about it and reevaluating.
Yeah.
Bro, I cannot tell you the amount of times we've been shooting an episode where my opinions on things have changed in real time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, for example, I remember when we were talking about immigration once.
Yeah.
Right? My view on overseas Pakistanis as a diaspora, as a community, was a lot more negative the day we decided to do the podcast. And it was a lot more positive the day we actually ended up doing it. Why? Because when I made a lot of the arguments that I generally made about them to myself in my head, I realized, dude, those aren't great arguments.
Yeah, they're not fair.
So I changed it in real time.
Yeah.
But, coming back to the Chinese government requiring degrees to talk about certain topics, I fully agree with you. Degree may not be
the best qualification, but a qualification nonetheless.
So I find that to be a very slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because I agree with the general principle, rather, that you should have knowledge or you should have the capacity to research.
Yeah.
But that is literally impossible to quantify, right? Like, we could not do this.
So degrees in a way work as a proxy for that, don't they? It's like I can't like go into every influencer's home and see if have you read 300 pages about this chud before you speak about him, but you have a degree which is kind of a proxy, like, okay, you probably know your shit about this topic.
So there's a few things, right? Firstly, the importance of interdisciplinary approaches is increasingly obvious to us as time goes by.
Yeah. It's the era of the
Polymath,
not the specialist.
We've got that back. And I think that's incredible, right? Not just when you're taking a macro bet on a country's risk.
Yeah.
You're not just doing it because when you're looking at the country's balance sheet and its ability to pay back a loan, you're also doing it because how important is this country to geopolitical actors? Will they let it default? Argentina right now is a prime example, right? Argentina is in terrible fundamental shape to pay back its loans, right? But the United States right now, as we speak, is arranging a massive $40 billion credit line. $20 billion directly, which the US never does. It does it through the IMF.
Yeah.
Right? That's a massive breakthrough convention.
Yeah.
$20 billion, it's facilitating it from private financiers.
Yeah.
This level of involvement is incredibly unusual, right? So yeah, if I'm a finance bro, and I'm just looking at, Argentina ka ye ratio itna hai, itna rollover hota hai, itna saal, I'm trying to figure out its credit score, simply put, as opposed to, there is no way in the world that those in power in the West let this bastion of American influence in South America fall. Especially in a time where the Bolivian president is expressing solidarity with causes that they don't want them to.
Yeah.
Especially in a time where
Brazil is joining BRICS.
Brazil is joining
hard
BRICS.
In their own.
The Nobel Prize Committee is being forced to not give a prize to Trump and instead give it to the Venezuelan opposition leader, so that they can express just how unhappy they are with the leftist government there, right? So during that time, you need an interdisciplinary approach to finance and politics to judge whether or not you should take a macro bet on Argentina.
Yeah.
Right. So in an era like this, it is gatekeeping and this kind of credentialism is, I think, anathema to progress.
Yeah.
Right. The general principle. Do I agree in general that like a lot of creators don't know and do not even have the mental flexibility to get into a certain topic? Yes. But for me, the solution to that is the good faith actors, which we're trying to be, I assume.
Yeah, I know we are.
Yeah. The good faith actors it is on them to have the level of reach, influence, information, and logic that they beat out the chuds.
Yeah.
The true chuds. And that's pretty much, it's a very market-based, approach to the media landscape. But I do think that at the end of the day, that's what will kind of solve it. And when you've got a so far hyper competent dispensation like the CCP has, the case for what we're saying weakens, right? Because then the case the CCP will make is not in favor of the CCP and not against necessarily what we're saying. It'll make the case more than anything else for stability.
Yeah.
It's going to say that, yeah, fine, I'm maybe 19-20, I'm like not all the way there in terms of what I should be providing. But I'm not interested in your alternative either because so far things have been going pretty good.
Yeah.
So there's no need to upend things. And to be honest, as someone who's very politically inclined, who's fascinated by revolutions and change and all of that, dude, if a country is stably doing well, I'm not trying to have a country turn into Syria.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to have a country turn into Lebanon, Iraq, or any of these places that have suffered in the wake of the Arab Spring. Maybe not Lebanon that way, but like Egypt going through a period of instability after, But so if you're stable and hitting 17 of the 20 marks, as a developing country in today's day and age, I would go for that as opposed to a highly volatile promise of 20 out of 20 and then getting nothing.
Yeah.
And then turning into poor Syria.